Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel, and today I'm finally going to be doing the Dr. Brown's Options bottle review, and I'm going to be comparing it to the original style of Dr. Brown's bottles. So let's just get started with this video. So this is what the Dr. Brown's Option bottle looks like. It is a pretty big bottle. It goes from an ounce to 8 ounces. And it's pretty much does the same thing as the original Dr. Brown's bottles, but what I love about these bottles is that you can actually take off the venting system from it and put it back on without it, and you can just use it as a regular bottle, which I think is really handy for when I kind of get lazy to wash these. I can just leave them overnight and just wash them the next day, and I don't have to have it on there to use it. Now, one con that I do want to say before I start getting into detail about these bottles is that I feel like the Dr. Brown's Options bottles works better with the venting system than without it. And why I say that is because I've noticed that when my son uses it without the venting system, the bottle tends to get filled with air. I'm not sure how, but basically the nipple or get all squished up, and it just kind of looks like this. And obviously it restricts the way a bottle should be, so it makes it harder for my son to get to his milk. But yeah, so this is what the bottle looks like. Like I said, I have the original Dr. Brown's bottles, but I have this one from an ounce to 4 ounces. So there is quite a difference in the size of these bottles, but they basically function the same. Like I said, they did do some changes. There are some obvious ones that you can see just by looking at them. But like I said, I am going to get in detail. So the thing that I've noticed about Dr. Brown's bottles is that the 1 to 4 ounce bottles, they have these labels where they have a marked, they're like printed on there, whereas the bigger bottles, they have literally stamped on there, which at first I thought I wasn't going to like it, because if you can see, it's kind of hard to tell since they're not blue and they're not very big also. But I like them actually being stamped on the bottle versus them just being printed on them, because after a while the paint will start to come off. If you can see right there, it started to chip off the paint. I think it's there. It could be somewhere else, or it could be on a different bottle that I noticed that the paint was chipping off. But like I said, that's one pro that I think is worth having these stamped on there. So another obvious change that I want to point out is the actual lids. As you can tell, this one is transparent, whereas this one is not transparent, and then the shape of them is also pretty different. One thing I do want to mention about these bottles is that you can't interchange parts. I did test it out myself, and I realized that you couldn't, and the reason why is because the nipples are pretty different. So the base of the nipples is different, and by that I'm just going to show you what I mean. Like I said, I did test these out, and if you interchange the nipples, the nipple is going to leak. So this came from the original Dr. Brown's bottles, and if you can see, the base of the nipple is pretty smooth, whereas the nipple from the Options bottle has some ridges, as you can tell. So that is a difference that is not pretty obvious, but that I noticed since I did try and interchange these parts. Like I said, it didn't work. So that's another change that they did to these bottles. I guess so it would function without the venting system. So another thing that they did change about these bottles is the venting system. As you can see, the venting system on the options bottles is inside, and it's kind of tough to pull it out, so you really need to pull on this little tab that they have right here, whereas the original Dr. Brown's venting system just kind of lays in there. And to be honest, I like that you have to push it inside, because this I feel like when I would make the bottles, it would kind of get stuck, or I would have to make sure that it was put in right. If it was crooked or anything else, you know, then they would leak. So I like that this one is inside the bottle versus just laying on top. Now the actual venting systems, as you can tell, they're obviously different colors. So this one is green, and this one is blue with the little white, I'm not sure what you would call this, but I'm just going to call it a top. So as you can see, the sizes are also different. The little tube here on the options is quite more narrow than the original Dr. Brown's options venting system, and then the ends too are pretty different. As you can see, this one just has kind of like a little, I guess, diagonal slash on it, whereas the options bottle one does not. So another thing that I am just noticing is the actual little tops to these. Besides the fact of this one having a tab, they also look kind of different, and then they still have the little holes, which help the air flow out of the bottles, and like I said, they're completely different sizes, but they work both exactly the same. So like I said, I really do like the options bottle because I don't have to have this on there. With the original Dr. Brown's bottles, you have to have this venting system, or else the bottle is not going to work at all. So that is it for my Dr. Brown's bottle review and comparison to the original Dr. Brown's bottles. If you have any questions about these bottles, or if you want to purchase the Dr. Brown's options bottles, I'm going to leave the link down below to where you can purchase them. And if you have any questions, just leave them down in the comments below. I also want to say thanks so much for watching, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of my reviews or more of my videos, please subscribe to my channel. It would mean a lot to me. So again, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you for my next video. Bye.